Weak. Weak again. First, we're gonna need two built-in libraries, random to pick our characters, and string to give us the lists of numbers and letters. Now what we're going to do is going to ask the user how they want their password to be built. What we're going to do here is use int input because these numbers are going to determine the number of iterations we're going to have to use on our loops later on. And now we're just going to copy and paste it for uppercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Now I'm just going to quickly set up the inputs for uppercase letters, numbers, and special characters, so we have everything we need. Obviously I'm not typing this fast, I don't even know who the hell can type this fast, so this is a bit edited. So feel free to pause. Next what we're going to do is generate characters, but first we're going to have to initialize an empty array. For each type we're going to have to use a for loop and our user set variables above for the length. And also what we're going to be using is choice from the random library, and what this does is that it grabs a random character from the string library and adds it to our list, and in this case it's going to be a lowercase string. Now I could be a good programmer and wrap this in a function, but instead I'm just going to copy and paste these loops for the other character sets. We're going to use the power of editing to speed it up so you don't have to watch a dumbass fix and rewrite their own variable names. Since I'm feeling nice for my non-existent viewers, I'll wrap it in a function near the end of the video. Finally, back to some productive code, and what we're going to do is just going to combine all of our different arrays of our different character types, and we're just going to make a massive password, and that is very cool. But obviously, there's a big problem with that, and that is that it's too predictable. So what we're going to do is use shuffle. I really hope I don't have to explain what shuffle does. We're just going to print our password, blah blah blah, and run it. Run our beautiful program. And we're going to input obviously our lowercase letters, uppercase letters, numbers, and special characters. And obviously you're going to see a little problem here, and that is it's still an array. And I'm sure the smart one of you, which is going to be 0 because no one's going to watch a stupid ass video, is going to realize, well, we're going to have to get out of array. We're going to have to make it into a string. You could possibly use that as a password, but actually, yeah, what the hell? There's probably a stronger password than the actual password. I'm going to test that at the end of the video. But what we're going to actually have to do to fix it is we're going to have to use the dot join. We're going to have to use this after the shuffle, and what this does is that it's going to join all the elements in our array into a single element. And you can see that I've used quotation marks before the dot join, and that's to say what we're joining the elements with is pretty much nothing. If we added like a 1 there, between every character we'd have a 1. But we're going to use nothing here, so it's just our password. And now you're going to see that with all the proper inputs, we'll finally get our password. To actually test our password, I'm going to go over to this site and I'm going to enter a password in. Obviously, you might not trust me, I might be a liar. So I'm going to click show password here, and you're going to see I'm going to copy and paste it in, and it's going to take 24 billion years for them to crack my password. Now, like I said, like my promise, I'm going to wrap in a function. So obviously delete all the unnecessary loops, create the function name. I'm going to call it get chars for characters, obviously. And what we're going to pass in is going to be the length of the number of iterations. It's just the number of iterations, what I'm waffling about. And the type of ASCII code. And we're going to replace it accordingly, and we're just going to tabulate it, put in the actual function. Then what we're going to do is rename it to array, because there's no point calling it lower, it'll just make it confusing and all, and replace lower amount to length. And now what we're going to return is the array, and we're just going to call the function 4 separate times for lower. This kind of seems counterintuitive, I'm still copy and pasting. So what we're going to do is obviously copy and paste it. for lower, upper, number, and special. I can actually type this fast, by the way. Now I'm going to run the program, and you're going to see that there is going to be no change at all, because realistically, it doesn't make a difference to the actual program. But obviously, it outputs the same result, which is good to see. I did say, I'll test the strength of your array password, and here we are, and no surprise, because it's obviously a bunch of characters long, and holy hell,